What's up guys, and welcome back to another edition of the weekend deal update. Today we have a bunch of great daily trainers. I don't know why it just landed like that. This week we also got a bunch of great deals at REI. Again, I don't know why it just worked out that way. Usually it's Dick's Sporting Goods, but REI coming through in the clutch with the lowest prices both online and in store. So if you've been here, you know the drill. If you're new here, I'll go through the 10 best running shoe deals I could find this weekend, letting you know where each of these might fall into your rotation. Alright guys, before we get into it today, if you haven't checked out the Running Shoe Matcher tool yet, head over to runningshoematcher.com. So the Running Shoe Matcher tool is a cool tool I built that matches you with the best shoe for you based on your goals and preferences. So you go in there, answer 5 questions about what type of shoe you're looking for, whether you want a daily trainer, a tempo shoe, or a race day shoe, whether you like your shoe soft or firm, and we'll match you with the best shoe for you. So it's live right now and it's free. You can check it out at runningshoematcher.com, and I'll put a link in the description below. Alright, let's get into it. Alright guys, so first up we got the Nike Vomero 17 at Nike.com. Now this one is $127. It's not below that sub $100 threshold that I usually like to surface deals at, but it's time for some Vomero propaganda. Nike's not paying me for this, but I want to just get some Vomero propaganda out there because this is my daily trainer right now and I am absolutely loving this thing. And at a $130 price point, this is very competitive. This thing does not get enough love. I know there's tons of competitive daily trainers on the market, but this is right up there with those top tier workhorse style shoes. So it's got a top layer of this ZoomX foam, which is that P-back, same thing that's in Nike's Vaporfly and Alphafly shoes, then a bottom layer of this Cushlon 3.0, which is a more standard training foam similar to a standard EVA we might find in a Saucony Ride or an Adidas Adizero SL. The difference here between those other daily trainer workhorse style shoes that it's not super firm. Even though it does have this bottom layer of Cushlon, it's a bit softer and, in Nike's words, springier than a traditional workhorse style shoe. So I've been loving this for all of my everyday miles. The way I've set up my rotation right now, if I'm doing a workout, say anything 6 minute per mile pace or 5 minute per mile pace, I'll go for the Boston 12. Anything that 7 minute pace range, this is my daily trainer. And for recovery efforts, anything 8 minutes per mile, I'm using the New Balance 1080 V13. So if you need a new tank-like shoe to just chew up a bunch of mileage and leave you feeling protected, also with a more fun, bouncy ride than some of those other firm daily trainers out there, I highly recommend checking out this Vomero 17. They've cut the price on the initial launch colorways to about $125. This is $127. It's usually priced at $160. All right, guys, next up we have the Adidas Adios 8 for $52 at adidas.com. Now, this is a lightweight workout shoe. It's not plated, but it does have this torsion support system underfoot. So at the bottom of the shoe, there's these plastic rod pieces that add a little bit more of stability so that it's not a super flexible, sloppy ride. So where this might slot into your rotation is for those interval training days. If you want something that's a bit lower stack than a plated trainer like an Endorphin Speed 3 or a Boston 12, this thing can come in to help you execute on those track style workouts. So 200 repeats, 400 repeats, maybe even 800 repeats. I wouldn't use this for any days where you're going over 3 miles of working efforts. So if you had 6x800s, you could probably slot this in. If you're going longer than that, doing those longer style marathon training workouts, I wouldn't use this, but this is a great shoe for building strength. I really love having at least one of these lightweight, more flexible, lower stack shoes in my rotation. This year for me, it was the New Balance Rebel V3, which was my favorite shoe of the year. I said that back in October, but if you need a new shoe for those Tuesday track day workouts, this is a great option at that $52 price point. It's usually $130, and for that $50, you are going to be getting some of Adidas's Light Strike Pro Supercritical TPEE race foam up there in the forefoot, which is a really nice and bouncy ride. Same thing that's in the Takumi Sen, that 5K racer, and the Adios Pro, which is their marathon racer. All right, guys, next up we have the trusty old Adidas Adizero SL for $35 at REI.com. Now this thing is the bargain shoe of the year. It is almost always on sale for lower than $50. I picked up this pair for $50 or $60 before we saw it go down to this ridiculously low price at $35. But what this is a firm daily trainer that's activated best on those faster days. Maybe you have some strides in your workout, maybe you want to do a little bit of pace pickup. This is the shoe shoe for that style of work. Now, if you're used to running in something like a Nova Blast, even a Nike Pegasus, this is going to be a lot firmer than those shoes. But if you are a bigger runner, or if you prefer having a little bit more structure to your everyday mileage shoe, then this is a great choice. Now, like I said with the Adios 8, I always recommend runners having at least one flexible shoe in their rotation. I also recommend having a little bit of a firmer shoe in your rotation. There's a lot of research out there that shows rotating your shoes with different drops can help prevent injury. In my experience, also rotating with different styles of foams, different rocker geometries helps a ton. And so I like to run in a firm shoe at least a few times a month, just to remind my body that not everything is about having maximum cushioning all of the time. So over the summer, I took this up to 16-mile long runs. I did marathon pace effort in this. If you like a firmer ride and need a workhorse style shoe, this thing can chew it up. It also has a great outsole on the bottom here. It's not going to be Adidas's Continental rubber. It's their standard rubber, but it's nearly just as good as that Continental rubber. Very grippy. I've run in this in the soaking wet and had no issues. So $35, REI.com. Alright guys, next up we have the Atreyu Daily Trainer for $55 at REI.com. Now, Atreyu is a brand based down in Austin, Texas that focuses on making simple and affordable shoes for runners. And the Daily Trainer is their entry into that everyday mileage category. Now, this is typically priced around $100. Right now, it's on sale for $55. And what you're gonna be getting here is a nice, simple, lightweight, everyday shoe that has a super critical foam in that midsole. So similar to what we see in the Hoka Mach 5, that top layer with that ProFly Plus. This is a super critical EVA that's soft, that's bouncy, that's gonna give you a little nice pep in your step for those everyday miles. Now, again, like that Audi Zero SL, this is not a max cushion shoe. This is not a comfort-oriented shoe. But if you need something lightweight, an everyday shoe, maybe you're a runner who runs a few times a week and just want something nice and affordable that you can pull on for those runs as well as gym work and casual wear, then the Atreyu Daily Trainer is a great choice for that. All right guys, next up we have the Saucony Endorphin Shift 3. As I said last week, and as I said the week before, and as I said the week before that, I will continue to highlight this deal until it goes out of stock. It is $80 at runningwarehouse.com. Now, this is the shoe that I have put the most mileage on over the past year. I checked my Strava and I think it's 347 miles that I put on this. I typically retire shoes right around that 300-mile mark. This thing is an absolute durable beast. It's got a thick stack of this standard EVA foam Power Run, which is a little bit firmer than other training foams you might be used to. Not as firm as that Audi Zero SL, but it's a really nice ride if you're a bigger runner, if you're a stronger and more powerful runner, and you don't like that quicksand sinking in feeling that a lot of other max cushion shoes offer. So for me, I use this as a daily trainer as well as a recovery running shoe. I really like how the firm foam pairs with this rocker, makes it really easy to turn over the shoe. And then out here in the back, we got this plastic heel clip for support. It locks the heel in place, adds a really solid, stable ride. Now, this will not be getting a next generation. There's no Saucony Endorphin Shift 4 coming in 2024. Instead, Saucony has replaced this with two shoes. So the Guide 17 is going to take the slot as that true stable shoe that uses the thick stack of Power Run. And then the Saucony Hurricane 24 is going to be the spiritual successor to this, but instead of using Power Run, it's using Power Run PB up near the foot, a little bit of a softer, more responsive ride, and then it does have a little bit of a layer of Power Run EVA on the bottom. So if you like that tried and true firm ride, if you also like saving a few bucks, $80 for this right now. Highly recommend if you're a bigger, taller, or stronger runner who wants a little bit of a more structured shoe for your everyday miles. All right, guys, next up we have the Puma Deviate Nitro 2 for $90 at Dick's Sporting Goods. So this is a shoe in that plated trainer category. It's got a top layer of that nitro foam, supercritical racing foam, and then bottom layer of a standard training foam, a little bit more of a solid, stable heel area for those planted landings. Now, in the plated trainer categories, there's a lot of different takes on how these shoes are constructed. You have shoes like the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3, which are designed for comfort as well as speed. You have the Boston 12, which is designed to be this top tier marathon racing shoe with a lot of that supercritical racing foam up in the forefoot. This one is a little bit of a blend of both, but it falls more into that daily training, everyday running category than a workout category. So it has a ride that's more similar to a typical daily trainer, like a Pegasus or a Saucony ride, but that's boosted up a little bit with that bouncy racing foam in place. So if you want something that's a little bit more exciting than one of those standard daily trainers for your everyday miles, this would be a great pick. We do know that the Deviate Nitro 3 is coming next year as well, so we can expect that this low price deal will be around for a while, and I have seen this $90 Dick's Sporting Goods around for at least a month now. All right, guys, next up we have the Adidas Boston 12. This one is $47 for women at REI. Then it's also back to $80 for men at adidas.com. So Adidas has one of the oddest pricing schemes in the running industry. Their shoes go on sale like no other brand that I've ever seen. And this one has been one that's been cut 50%, 70%, 80% over the past few weeks. So this has been my marathon training workout shoe of choice for the past few months. I've put about 200 miles on it in the last 6 weeks or so. And I mean, look at this thing. It still looks beautiful, almost brand new. It is a stallion. It's got this top layer of Light Strike Pro foam, which is a supercritical TPEE. It's nice and bouncy. And then a bottom layer here of this Light Strike 2.0, a little bit softer than the Light Strike that we see in the Audi Zero SL. But again, it's gonna add some nice planted, firm, stable landings out in the back. So if you need one shoe to do all of your faster efforts for marathon training or for any other style of race training, I would highly recommend the Boston 12. Also been using this as my long run shoe for long runs where I have pace or where I don't have pace prescribed. I've done a 20-mile long run in this, and this supercritical TPEE Light Strike Pro foam is absolutely beautiful for those efforts. The shoe doesn't get that bottoming out feeling that some of these other training shoes with top tier racing foams can get. For example, the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3, because I'm a bigger and taller runner, could get a little bit of that bottoming out in the forefoot with that plastic plate combined with that Power Run PB foam. This does not get that. It has a little bit more structure and support through the forefoot and through the rear of the platform. Also, it has this beautiful Continental rubber outsole here. I use this for one of the most torrential rainstorm runs I've ever had in my life. I was wading through 6 inches of rainwater for some portions of that run, and this thing just ate it up like a champ. There was no slipping whatsoever. So $47 for women at REI, $80 for men at adidas.com. Both of those links are below. All right, guys, to round it out here, we have 3 in-person deals that I saw in the REI stores last week. Again, like I said at the top, this is not sponsored by REI. I don't even get a commission from any of these, unfortunately. But I went in there last week because I needed to take the kids out of the house. We got some Auntie Annie's. We hit the mall. It was wild. We went to REI, and they had some really good deals in the running shoe section. So first one was the Saucony Kinvara 14. They have this one for $60, normally priced at $120, so this is a 50% discount. Now, this is one of the last remaining shoes in this lightweight tempo trainer non-plated category that doesn't use a modern racing foam. So if you look at a shoe like the New Balance Rebel V3, which is also in that category, that uses the fuel cell foam. This one still uses that Power Run standard EVA, which is the same thing we see in the Saucony Endorphin Shift 3, same thing that we see in the last generation of the Saucony Ride. So this is gonna offer a little bit more of a firm, snappy ride than some of these other shoes. If you are a traditionalist who likes lower stacked shoes to run your faster days, this is a great choice. If you want a shoe for track work, if you want a shoe for short, fast efforts, then the Kinvara 14 is the best deal on the market for that. Rebel V3 has also been on sale recently, but only for $100. I haven't seen it drop below that $70 price point, which is where I picked up my pair of Rebels earlier this year. Next, for those REI in-person deals, we also had the Cloudsurfer for $80. So the On Cloudsurfer is a standard daily trainer that skews to the softer side. It uses On's Cloud Tech still, so those holes in the midsole, but pairs them with this rocker so that they collapse as you run and gives you a nice rolling sensation as you run along. So if you prefer a softer daily trainer, or if you want something that's gonna be a little bit softer for your recovery efforts, then this is a great choice. It would be a good shoe to pair with something like the Kinvara or to pair with something like the Audi Zero SL. So you had one softer daily trainer and one firmer daily trainer. So as I mentioned with these deals last week, it's gonna vary based on your location, what they have in stock. But if you do have an REI near you, then you can go check out what they have in that store. Last up from those REI deals, we did have the Saucony Ride 16. That one was $70 in store at REI. So this is like the Kinvara, but dialed up a little bit. Same Power Run EVA foam. It's gonna be a little bit of that firmer ride, but not as high stacked as the Shift, not as low stacked as the Kinvara. It's that sweet spot for everyday miles that has just enough cushion to leave you protected, but not too much so you feel like you're fighting the foam and running in a recovery shoe. So we know that the next generation of the Ride 17, will be using Saucony's Power Run Plus foam, which is the beaded TPU that we currently see in the Triumph. So this generation is the last holdout using that standard EVA foam. So if you prefer that firmer ride, also if you prefer a lighter weight shoe, this one is 8.8 ounces for the US men's size 9. The new generation is going up to 9.9 ounces because that Power Run Plus foam is a little bit heavier, even though it is softer and bouncier. Then the Ride is a good choice. This is a great bargain out there for anyone who wants a very durable shoe, workhorse style shoe for miles. It's not going to be as firm as the Audi Zero SL. Most runners can get along with this without feeling like it's too firm underfoot. All right, guys, so there you have it. That is the weekend deal roundup. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for liking and subscribing, and I'll be back tomorrow with another video.